Y'all cool if I nerd out a little bit today? This is really probably a long overdue video, but I want to take this evening to share with you a little bit about some of my most used tools and my top 3 favorite couldn't live without tools that often grace this workbench right behind me. I want to start off with a few honorable mentions, a few tools that didn't quite make it to the top 3, but are some of my still most beloved tools and ones that I use pretty much all the time. The first one being this guy right here. This is a wooden mallet or hammer that you can tell is pretty beat up, and one that I actually inherited because I found it in a workshop of my parents' property that they moved into. And this is what I use to punch holes for Bible rebinds on the edges as I pre-punch those, or rivets or anything like that. Love this thing. The next honorable mention is a tool that I used a ton starting off, especially for my designs. It's this. This is a paring or skiving knife. As you can see, I can never keep this thing sharp enough. And truth be told, this is something I got out of an Amazon kit when I first started, because that's what you do. This is one that is really sentimental. It's a straight edge that really bodes well for me and my stitchless designs, because I can press down on it and it'll work really well. But this is one that I absolutely love and also gets an honorable mention. All right, drum roll for the top 3. The first one coming in here, I'm actually gonna cheat since I made the rules anyways and use these interchangeably. And it's 2 tools, but they accomplish one function and one purpose. And it's these guys. This first one right here is a double edge hand modeler tool. And this is actually typically used in like clay and other arts and crafts, but it works wonderfully well for modeling leather, for hand embossing. And that's what I do. You'll see this pop up mostly on cover designs and rebinds where I'm modeling the leather around the scrap that's underneath. And I do it with this guy, small but super mighty. The second half of slot number 3 is this bone folder. You see this mentioned probably in some of those same Amazon kits, and those kits come with this. It's a plastic kind of dulled edge, rounded off bone folder. It's bone only in name. This is just something that's used to press or compress paper after it gets glued and things like that. I used this for the longest time and then finally upgraded to this. This is made from real bone, whether that be cow bone or deer typically. And this one was actually made in Scandinavia. I snagged this off of Rocky Mountain Leather Supply. Not sponsored, but would love to be. This thing accomplishes what seems like some very simple tasks, but it's one I use all the time. It not only presses down on the edges of paper to make sure it seals to the other page, but it is also something that I use to stretch out leather. Once I finish a piece, I will put it on the inside and really kind of break it in. I'll pre-break in the leather before it makes it to a customer. Coming in at number 2 is the Palo Santo scratching awl. This is one of my, I say, nice leather tools. It's a splurge that I got for a birthday a handful of years ago. My wife got for me and funded, and I love it. It's something I genuinely use on every leather working project I do. It marks out my measurements if I'm tracing a cutout design with cardboard. This is what I use. I scratch into the leather the pattern that I'm gonna cut. Very simple, but very beautiful design, as you can see. I think that's teak wood. If you're a woodworker, please don't flame me. I'm just trying to remember the description. But this is, again, a small but mighty tool that I use on every project. This is one that's like, if I was buried in the workshop, this one would be in the casket. And last, but certainly not least, another upgraded tool I got a few years ago and have loved using ever since. I use this on most every leatherworking project, if not to round corners, then to cut straight lines. And it is another blade coming into the mix. A brass craft blade holder, which is the technical term of this, but it is really a souped up X-Acto knife. And I won't even say that. That dishonors this. This is a workhorse. You can't really feel it, but you could probably tell just based on the look. This thing is hefty, and it's wonderful that it's hefty because in hand and making cuts, that allows it to stay straight. And this is not your typical X-Acto blade. It's fatter, so to speak. It cuts sharper. My fingers have felt it a few times, but this is the holder. This was a collaboration between Quarter Leather, which is a really cool leather worker who's been doing it for a long time. He's an OG, a real godfather in the craft, and Buckle Guy. The great thing about it is if a blade gets too dull, I can just throw another one in. And I need to more often than I do because it's fresh and cuts like it's going through butter. That's my top 3. I could go on, and maybe I will if you guys want me to in another video about different kind of tools I picked up along the way, or just different things that maybe aren't used the way they're intended to be, but they work for me. And I would love to. I'd love to share that, but that's just my 3 favorite / most used, most cherished tools that grace this workbench a good bit and bring you all the products you know and love.